If you don't have a plan, holiday meals can hit your budget hard, which is why I'm here to help you save big on this month's groceries so that you and your family can get stuffed right along with this month's turkey. Now, if you're scratching your head wondering what a budget-friendly feast entails, or you're curious about how to realistically keep your family well-fed among the cooking chaos, well, honey, I'm so glad you dropped in for a visit. Now grab that chair over there and cozy in. In this video, I'm going to share one-pan easy weeknight dinners, simple side dishes that capture the taste of fall, homemade recipes that are healthier than store-bought alternatives, and most importantly, I'm going to share how I, and maybe you, can completely avoid becoming a Grinch given all this extra cooking some of us would be doing. As usual, I'm going to start off with this month's grocery guide, then I'm going to take you step by step through 7 different recipes. That's right, each month I send a free grocery guide straight to your inbox. It has a list of the fruits, vegetables, and other items you should stock up on because they're either in season, which means they'll be at their lowest price even without a coupon, and abundant for the next few weeks or months. Product families of non-food items also have sales cycles at different times of the year, and I share these too. My grocery guide even gives you a few recipe cards, 2 per page, that you can print and add to your recipe box or binder. And you can just click the link below so that you can automatically get your guide every month. Now I'm going to read this list out loud, but as I do, think about and highlight what your preservation plan will be. That's why I have that section clearly indicated on your guide. Because in addition to eating it fresh, are you also going to freeze it, ferment it, can it, dehydrate it, whatever, so that you have enough to last you when you can no longer grow it yourself or source it inexpensively. All right, the vegetables that are in season and on sale include your brassicas like kale and chard, your squashes like butternut, acorn, kabocha, spaghetti squash, and delicata squash, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, porcini mushrooms, walnuts, almonds, and pecans, which are best fresh, so if you don't plan to cook with them right away, just put them in the freezer. Oh, and the taste of tubers like your parsnips, rutabagas, beets, turnips, and sweet potatoes is tough to beat come November, which you can use in things like mashes and soups, salads, or casseroles. The fruits that are in season include your apples, late season berries like cranberries, and then you've got your tropical and citrus fruit like kiwi, persimmons, pomegranates, oranges, mandarins, tangerines. Grapefruit, lemon, and limes are especially ready to use in things like smoothies or fruit salad and desserts, and also pears. All right, so let's talk turkey real quick. And in a bit, I'm going to show you a way to use your leftover turkey in this delicious rustic turkey tart. So this year, the Consumer Price Index is saying that consumers will be paying about 16% less for their turkey this year. I mean, you may pay a bit more or less depending on where you live, but this year they're saying that the average will be about $1.37 per pound compared to last year's price of about $1.63 per pound. And this drop is mostly due to avian flu cases being down, but the overall bird population is up. You can also add lower egg prices on your list of items to be grateful for this holiday season. Goodness, do you remember just a few years ago when eggs reached record prices at like $5 a dozen? But now, depending on where you shop, the Consumer Price Index is showing that the average price for a dozen is $2.07. All right, now we're gonna move into recipes that are gonna save you time using the ingredients that I just shared. Lasagna is always a crowd pleaser. But if you're not embracing fall flavors to whip up this seasonal twist, you're definitely missing out.
A pumpkin and turnip lasagna brings the rich flavors of autumn to your plate. This recipe starts with Italian sausage. You can use ground or linked like I am, but you'll need to remove the casings. I just pinch it a bit and squeeze it out. Transfer your sausage to a heavy bottom pan to brown. Next, saute a heavy handful of garlic and take out your turnip greens to give them a rough chop. You're going to cook these in the hot pan drippings, which will flavor them up nicely. Now, if you can't find turnip greens, mustard, kale, or collard greens also work. You're going to cook these for 5 to 6 minutes until the greens are tender, then remove them from the heat. Let's make our cheese sauce. Temper your milk in batches until it's warm, then melt butter along with some flour before adding your milk. Whisk until it thickens and comes to a low boil, then remove from the heat. Then you'll add your mustard, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, a pinch of pepper, and nutmeg, and mix to combine. Grab a separate bowl and combine your pumpkin puree. And just as a side note, this is different from pumpkin pie mix. And then you'll take your Parmesan cheese and add that to the bowl. And then you're going to season your mixture with a bit of nutmeg, salt, and pepper. Then give things a good stir. Would you believe this is my first time trying no boil needed lasagna sheets? Yep, and these are made from organic green lentils and completely tenderized in the oven. Cover the bottom of your pan with your lasagna noodles, then spread your creamy cheese sauce on top. Sprinkle a layer of crumbled sausage, then place another set of lasagna noodles on top and spoon over your pumpkin mix. Transfer your turnip greens from the pan and then spread them on top and add more sausage. Continue to build your layers, with your top one being a hearty spreading of cheese. Place your pan in the oven to bake at 375 degrees for 40 minutes or until the top is golden brown. What comes out of the oven is a fantastic fall-flavored lasagna that tastes as good as it looks. I should have waited a tad longer to cut into this pumpkin parmesan paired pasta, but I couldn't resist because the flavor is that good. We look forward to this lasagna every year. The creamy pumpkin puree adds a velvety texture and a hint of sweetness, which perfectly complements the earthy and slightly peppery notes from the turnip greens. I think you'll find this recipe actually elevates the traditional lasagna experience, but still holds fast to its vibrant and comforting flavors. And yes, the full recipe is in this month's free grocery guide.
Cooking with squash is an easy way to get a low-prep, nutritious meal on the table. Take a look.
This time of year, you'll find squash at its lowest price of the year, around $1 per pound. And you'll also find craisins at a great bargain too, so grab the big bags. Cranberry glazed acorn squash is a recipe that combines both of these ingredients. Start by cutting your acorn squash in half. Remove the seeds, which you can roast and season to add a crunchy topping to soup, salads, or as a snack. Then slice the squash into 4 to 5 parts. Next, take a baking sheet, line it with a reusable silicone baking mat, and place your sliced squash on top. Drizzle with a bit of olive oil and lightly sprinkle with a bit of brown sugar and unrefined sea salt. Place the tray in the oven to bake at 475 degrees for 40 minutes to tenderize. While that's baking, grab a jar, red wine vinegar, and dried craisins. You're going to soak about a half cup of craisins in red or sherry vinegar and microwave it on high for 30 seconds. Then you'll let the mix stand for 10 minutes before draining off the liquid. Since I'm using a canning jar, I'm slipping on a silicone jar jacket, which will protect my hands from touching the hot glass. For certain recipes, and especially this one, soaking dried fruit helps to keep it plump and moist. Now let's create the glaze, which is a mixture of cane syrup, melted unsalted butter, and a sprinkling of red chili flakes. Mix to combine, and once you pull your squash from the oven, brush the squash with this delicious sweet and spicy glaze. Don't forget to turn the squash over and brush with the remaining syrup mixture. Bake at 475 for 12 more minutes or until golden brown. Scoop the squash into your serving platter and grab your jar of marinating craisins. Drain the vinegar, then sprinkle your craisins on top of the squash. Next, top with diced fresh parsley, which not only adds a stunning pop of color, but also balances the sweetness of the craisins and the nutty, earthy taste of the acorn squash. You can easily see how this recipe is the perfect fall dish for your Thanksgiving table, or if you want to dazzle guests with an easy weekday dinner. As I mentioned, you can make this an all-in-one meal by adding sliced sauteed red onion, along with roasted pork, lamb, chicken, or bacon, black beans, or quinoa. Acorn squash skin is completely edible, so don't remove it. Enjoy it with each bite. See how tender it cuts with a butter knife? The flesh is sweet and creamy and complements the medley of flavor you're about to experience in your mouth.
If this is our first time meeting, hi, I'm Cassandra from the blog BecomingAFarmGirl.com. I'm here to help you start canning and cooking from scratch and create a home canned pantry your family will love. Even in a small space and in your spare time, you can find ways to live a farm fresh life. If you need a kitchen companion, I'm your gal. Do something for me, okay? By the end of this next recipe, let me know in the comments section if I've convinced you that adding hearty amounts of carrots to your sweet potato casserole is exactly what you need to take it to the next level. Go on and watch.
With fresh carrots and sweet potatoes in season, there are several reasons you should cook these as a duo. The first reason is enhanced flavor. Yep, carrots add a subtle sweetness and earthy undertone to the dish, which complements the natural sweetness of the sweet potatoes. Secondly, carrots also bring a vibrant orange color to the casserole, intensifying the visual appeal that creates an eye-catching presentation. The contrasting colors of the carrots and sweet potatoes creates a look that's perfect for special occasions. You'll also notice an improved texture over just using sweet potatoes because carrots contribute a slightly firmer texture compared to sweet potatoes, which can be quite soft when cooked. This textural contrast adds depth to the casserole, providing a pleasing variation in mouthfeel as you enjoy each bite. Since we're in the throes of cold and flu season, combining carrots and sweet potatoes increases the diversity of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants in the dish. Carrots, for example, are rich in beta-carotene and vitamin A, while sweet potatoes are a good source of vitamins like C and B6. The variety of nutrients can make the casserole more nutritious and healthful. You'll also use less sugar. I only used a quarter cup, but I truly think that you don't need any because in-season sweet potatoes and carrots are bursting with natural sweetness. As you can see, it would take a keen eye to notice any difference. So what's stopping you from making a carrot and sweet potato casserole? Sprinkle your marshmallows on top, bake as normal, and plop this on a plate. See how you get a thicker, firmer body that still is very creamy? And finally, you should add carrots because your family won't know you did, so they won't give you any grief. And goodness, if they do, it's only because they feel tricked that they're enjoying carrots so much. All right, I'll step down from my soapbox, but give this one a try.
Y'all, we are right at the beginning of fresh cranberry season. If you aren't already, consider making your own cranberry sauce, which keeps all that high fructose corn syrup and other mess out. Plus, you'll have a bigger, healthier batch for less money. Here's how simple the recipe is to make and can yourself.
You're going to see signs for 14 ounces of cranberry sauce on sale, but it's junked up with ingredients that aren't necessary. Instead, opt for the 12-ounce bag of fresh cranberries, also on sale, which yield the best cranberry flavor. And 2 bags will make 4 pints, or 64 ounces. That's over 4 times as much for the same quantity of 2 store-bought cans. I'm filling a tall stock pot with water for my water bath, and then on the other burner, I'm going to bring sugar and water to a boil over medium-high heat and simmer for about 5 minutes. In a separate bowl, I'm going to pour in and rinse my berries, but I'm also going to inspect them to remove any wrinkly or badly punctured berries. You want your berries to have firm skin like this, so remove any of the ones that don't look as fresh, like this. Add the cranberries to your pan and cook them in the sugar syrup until they pop. If you're making jellied cranberry sauce, then you're going to turn off the heat and allow things to cool before blending with an immersion blender, but skip this step for making whole berry sauce, which is what I'm doing. Now, I just love how orange zest complements this sauce, so I'm going to add some of that. You'll also drop in a cinnamon stick or 2 or powder, and then let the sauce simmer for 15 minutes to start to thicken up. Add the orange zest at the very end of your cook time. After this, you're going to ladle the cranberry sauce mixture into your canning jars, leaving about 1/4 inch of headspace, and then remove air bubbles with a debubbler. Now, you can either store your jars in the fridge for immediate use or process them in a water bath canner for 15 minutes. Voila, you've got a healthier homemade version of a classic recipe.
Can we real talk? Okay, good, I thought so. Cooking or kitchen fatigue before and during the holidays is real. So I work full time, and in my school district, most years we don't get off until it's Thanksgiving Day. The regular kitchen flow on top of preparing for a mini feast can make this time of year daunting for home cooks. Don't worry, I've got tips for you. The first is that this is the time of year where I rely on a bank of freezer meals using ingredients that I've stocked away throughout the summer. And that does 2 things. It'll help you create margin and clear space in your fridge for the incoming inventory. An easy place to start with is breakfast.
I'll link to the full breakfast freezer meal video where I show you how to make your own fruit-filled Nutri-Grain bars and create filling on-the-go versions of your favorites like pancakes and sausage muffins that can be customized to your preference. I also share quick breakfast sandwiches and recipes to create your own omelets that fully cook in a jar, like this ham, egg, and cheese one. Pita pocket sandwiches, stuffed breakfast peppers, French toast cups using stale or raisin cinnamon bread. Goodness, these are so good. Along with my personal favorite, frozen oatmeal with all the fixins.
The other tip I heavily rely on this time of year are my muffin meals. I love my muffin meals because you don't have to commit to a full-blown portion that's casserole size. I mean, it's the perfect way to use up tidbits of ingredients that you already have. Let me show you what I mean.
Don't overthink this, darling, but start by going through your fridge, freezer, and cabinets in search of ingredients you need to use up, but maybe don't have enough of for a full recipe. For example, while I'm already in the kitchen cooking, I'm going to make spaghetti with meatballs using spaghetti squash to replace the noodles, and in a bit, I'll show you how I'm making a burrito bowl. Now, when it comes to spaghetti squash, remember, don't overcook it. 25 minutes at 400 degrees is perfect and will keep your noodles from turning into mush. Next, take your meatballs or ground meat and fully cook it. I'm placing these in the oven right beside the squash. I dug out some shaved beef that's been in the freezer since March, and I'm going to use it to start another meal, beef stroganoff. And I'm going to start some rice for my burrito bowl meals. Let's add some noodles to the larger pot, and then I'm going to add my own homemade cream of mushroom soup, which is a recipe that I shared with you in a video about how to make your own cream of anything. All right, the squash is done, so I'm going to fork through it, and it will continue to tenderize as it cools. Watch as I scoop out these vegetable strands that are a satisfying replacement for flour pasta. Oh, now doesn't that look good? Okay, now I'm going to take a silicone muffin tin, which I think are the best because you don't need liners or grease and they easily pop out. As I assemble the remaining meals, what you'll see me doing is creating serving portions that can be leveraged as a quick snack, a side dish, or even the main entree. I encourage everyone to keep muffin meals on hand because it's a great way to get a variety of meal options in your freezer without committing a lot of cooking time or working with large quantities of food. These burrito bowls have a base layer of rice, black beans, green chili sauce, and ground turkey, and into the freezer they go. Let's return our focus back to the beef stroganoff, which is the portion that I'm cooking the most of. Imagine if every time you cooked a moderate-sized meal, you tucked some away in a muffin meal. Honey, doing this, and my canning, is what allows me to easily go for a week without cooking when life gets hairy. I have larger size silicone trays, which I'm going to freeze this meal in, but man, my homemade cream of mushroom soup made this meal come together in no time. Okay, everything has frozen overnight, so now it's time to pop everything from the silicone trays and create your own heat and eat bag. See how easily these slide out? Sometimes if I've refrigerated a batch of something or if we have leftovers, I'll freeze portions of the food over multiple days. Then you're going to go ahead and add everything to your freezer safe bag. And this is the bag that you or your family will reach for when you want something quick and you don't have to worry about defrosting an entire casserole dish that maybe won't get eaten. I just love how these are all-in-one meals that I can feel good about eating. And hey, sometimes it's fun to mix and match smaller serving sizes, just saying. As you focus on hosting this month, keep calm and collected by having an arsenal of muffin meals.
Now, as you're cooking this month, you may find yourself reaching for that second or third cup of coffee to give you that bolt of energy. But I've got something better. Compression socks and house shoes. Oh, not the culinary advice you were expecting? Honey, let me tell you, kitchen shoes and compression socks are game changers. Now look, during the summertime, I love letting my toesy woesies run free in the grass, but most of our kitchen floors are made from things like laminate, linoleum, tile, or hardwood, and that can wreak havoc on your body. Whether it's your legs, your back, or your feet, that can send you into a fatigue spiral. When standing for long periods, gravity affects your blood flow and circulation. Since your heart pumps blood to your arteries and your veins returns the fresh blood, when you stand, veins have to work extra hard to get your blood from your feet to your heart to get some fresh oxygen. This is what causes swollen, tired, and achy feet, and goodness, if you're running short an hour or two on sleep, no one is getting the best version of you, not even the dog. But putting on some comfy compression socks paired with supportive shoes can boost circulation and help fend off that exhaustion. Just make sure they fit right so that you get the benefits without feeling like your feet are in a tight squeeze. Now, these shoes are brand new when I got them from the thrift store, and since we don't wear outside shoes in the house, I only wear these inside. Do not give me the side eye on this tip until you've tried it. Since turkey's on everyone's mind this month, let me tell you how I got my turkey and my favorite way to use leftover turkey. Dad?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, did you already grab your Thanksgiving turkey?
What's that?
Did you already grab your Thanksgiving turkey?
No, not yet.
I went out and got mine yesterday, and I mean that in the truest sense.
So how was it?
You know what? It was very similar. This is the smallest bird. This is a hen that's 10 pounds, which is going to be enough for Trey and I.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of those birds, I think our heaviest Tom was, like 19 pounds. Yeah, so last weekend I connected with a homesteader that I met at HOA, the Homesteaders of America conference, and I was just too tickled when they offered me a turkey for helping out. And this weekend I'm helping my friend Crystal process her 6 turkeys too. Now I went ahead and cooked that bird, but here are 2 recipes that you can use with yours.
After my bird had rested in the fridge for 2 days, I created a brine loosely based off the Pioneer Woman's recipe. I do find that homestead birds are much more tender than store-bought meat, but I thought it wouldn't hurt. It also helps inoculate a bit of flavor into the bird. It doesn't turn it into a salty mess either. It just results in a juicy, fantastic turkey. And I wanted to use the last of my herbs before they completely die down for the season. I'm brining my bird in these large oven bags because the bird will marinate for about 12 to 18 hours. Let it be known that I'm just seasoning with what I have, which are staples for me, like onion, a few slices of bacon, some herbs, and however the spirit moves me. Each time the flavor is a bit different, and I like it that way. My little bird came out so pretty and tender, but can I tell you that I was most excited about the pan drippings? Oh yes, because that's how I was gonna get my turkey bouillon and turkey fat, which are special treats in my kitchen. Both of these are concentrated lip-smacking flavor. You just strain the drippings to remove the meat particles. The fat rises to the top and the bouillon goes to the bottom. Put a lid on top and stick it in the fridge. The next day it'll look like this, completely solid. The top lighter part is your fat. You'll use it just like your jar of bacon fat for sauteing and seasoning. It's so easy and satisfying to follow along the natural separation line and scoop out your fat into a jar to keep in the fridge and use it over the next week or so. Okay, what remains in the bottom is your bouillon, which is what I like to slice and freeze. This is true bouillon, better than the powder or base that you buy at the store, and it's free. Now you gotta wiggle it out of the jar, which isn't hard to do. It is super wiggly, and goodness, it smells just like the oven roasted turkey. When heated, you'll have a nourishing broth. Boing, 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 boing. Okay, Cass, sorry, that was just too fun. Focus. What I'll do is slice this liquid gold up and use a slice or two to toss into things like, my soups or to flavor rice or pasta when cooking. There is very little salt in here and no added preservatives, so it's very healthy. In case you've never cooked with this bouillon, let me show you that it dissolves completely while leaving excellent flavor behind. When I made this pot of brown rice, I slid a bouillon medallion into it, and let me tell you, this rice came out tasting delish. I topped the rice with just some, kidney beans, and that humble meal came out so full of flavor. I deboned the meat from the turkey, and I'm gonna save the carcass for stock. During the summer, I caught frozen pie crust on sale, 2 for 50 cents, but this is always my go-to leftover turkey recipe that's impressive enough to serve guests. It's a turkey tart, but think of it as a seasoned turkey salad baked with blue cheese crumbles. Brown the crust, then add a few scoops of turkey along with blue cheese crumbles and diced pears. Sprinkle with craisins, add sour cream, parsley or green onions, then a bit of buttermilk, salt and pepper. Oh, and don't forget those roasted pecans. Stir to combine and then ladle into your pie crust. Lastly, sprinkle with the remaining blue cheese and bake in the oven for about 25 minutes. You saw those flavor combinations, so I don't think I need to tell you how fantastic this is between the melty cheese, chewy craisins, crunchy pecans, sweetness from the pears, lordy. Now, it takes about 30 minutes to set, but y'all, we were hungry this night and I couldn't wait, so I plated it almost as soon as I took it from the oven. You're gonna love this turkey tart.
Now you may say, I don't need all that turkey, that is too much meat. And in that case, you can just shop for a turkey breast. But if you do this, just know that you're not gonna get the cheapest price per pound of turkey. For example, even though it's just my husband and I still like to stock up on about 5 to 6 turkeys, and I'll be doing that over about these next 3 months. Because I like to be able to create my own shelf-stable, fully cooked like turkey breast that I'll can just in several quart-sized jars. And then also, I will just use the attachment that I have for my KitchenAid, my grinder, and grind my own turkey, because ground turkey is just, I just don't think that it is an affordable price for the quantity that you get, when now I can make my own. And then plus I can make my own like turkey patties or, you know, turkey sausages using the herbs that I still have growing out in my green stalks. I still have my sage is doing well, my rosemary is really good. I'm actually like looking at them. I have some thyme, my green onions, and that is just a superb product that I'm going to pay, you know, an astronomical price for at the grocery store, but is extremely affordable, you know, when I do it this way. Now, some stores set turkey traps, and I want you to avoid them. That's right, these traps are for you. It's already too late for the birds. And what I mean by this is that you may need to be prepared to make several trips or entice your spouse or an older child to come with you so that they both can go through the checkout lanes, because most of your cheaper birds will often have a purchase limit per customer. And many grocery stores will sell turkeys as a loss leader, as a way to entice you to come into the store and hope that you'll make an abundance of other purchases. Then you've got to watch out for those other stores that will require you to spend $20 to $50 or sometimes $100 in order to get the cheapest price per bird. Don't do this. Instead, wait it out. And the waiting game may be longer than you think, but y'all have seen me rack up my birds this way. Now, you would think turkeys would hit their clearance price right after Thanksgiving, but the answer is only some might. Typically, only fresh turkeys are going to go on sale because they're getting ready to approach their sell-by date, unlike your frozen turkeys. So this week, you need to know which one of your stores is selling fresh turkeys, and then you can plan to be there a day or two after Thanksgiving. Since these birds already have the sell-by date on them, stores need to move them out. So grab one, freeze one, or can it for later. Oh, I wanted to share this tip with you. The hen-sized turkeys, which are about 16 pounds and under, are a lot harder to find than the tom-sized turkeys that are 16 pounds and over. And you likely won't have the same choice in terms of size as you did pre-Thanksgiving. You're gonna have to tell me if this is the same in your area, but I have seen this play out the past couple of years. So with your frozen birds, there is no need for stores to go ahead and sell those quickly because Christmas is just around the corner. So what I've noticed is that you're not gonna see a drop in your frozen birds until about that second or third week in January. Yep, your frozen turkey prices are likely to stay stuck and stubborn until then, until that second or third week in January, when most folks are just turkeyed out, but that's when you and I strike. I did this exact same thing last year, and y'all saw it. I snatched birds for 49 cents a pound. That price is incredible, and I left the store feeling like I stole something. I think y'all know that we are very intentional with our purchases, and we are very strategic about holding out to get something until there's a really great deal. And so I wanted to share that if you are on the fence about getting a green stalk, or you want to add to, you know, your green stalk garden, that Black Friday offers one of their best deals. Things are going to be 40% off or more compared with other deals. And then you can also use my code BeAFarmGirl to take $10 off your order and get free shipping. This is also a great time to stock up on your canning equipment. I exclusively use my canning lids and jars from 4Jars. They offer just superior quality that you can just feel and see. And they're going to be offering like 40% off almost everything in their store. I'll include a link to my coupon code, because, you know, it used to be, I've been canning for almost 10 years, and you could find, you know, canning equipment readily available in stores, you know, right up in April, all throughout the canning season, but it is just, that's not the landscape, you know, anymore. I have been drowning in quail eggs the past couple of months, and it's been glorious. So some of y'all know that since the spring, I've been helping my friend Crystal with her quail business. She sells her quail eggs to several farmers markets in the area, but as they're getting ready to close for the season, she calls the majority of her flock, which reaches to like 320 birds throughout the height of the season, and keeps just about 40 or so over the winter. This is going to be the last of my quail eggs until we incubate in January. And the last of quail dinners for a few months. But guess what? I'll be setting up my own backyard operation then. Since I would have helped Crystal for almost a year by then, I cannot tell you how comfortable I feel about keeping my own quail. Now, as some of y'all know, this has been almost a 3-year journey, but I am so glad that I didn't rush things, because there are so many more technicalities with keeping quail than I thought. I mean, it's not hard, but there are certainly things that you don't want to be surprised with either.
If you can't have chickens, quail are perfect because there are rarely any ordinances against them. Plus, they'll give you meat and eggs. They're fully grown in 6 to 8 weeks and are hardy birds. But learning tasks like clipping beaks and observing health anomalies has been very helpful.
That's it. There you go. These are eggs that are forming, and these little tiny ones are also eggs. So there's nothing wrong with that bird, it's just how they form. Ready?
Squeeze it out, yeah.
So you could actually, if we keep going, I might not be able to get it without, oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
Wow. After plucking what I thought was a very hefty hen, I noticed something felt off in the abdomen region of this bird. Wow.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That could be a cyst.
Oh my goodness.
So that's not from water. Look at that. It's just coming out.
Wow.
I'm trying not to like puncture anything else. There's a lot of liquid in there. Look at that.
Whoa.
I've never ran into this before. But I think it's probably, there's an egg. I think that's it. Like the rest looks pretty clear, but I would assume that's a cyst of some kind.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
As a homestead dreamer that will be in a townhouse for a few more years, I'm trying to leverage what I have right now to eventually have a successful launch. This year, I've made strides with butchering by connecting with my friend Crystal, and I've learned how to harvest quail and chickens and turkeys, and I'm really becoming confident as someone who can harvest their own meat. Well, about 2 weeks ago, I got an email saying that I was accepted into a deer hunting mentoring program that was being sponsored through my state's Maryland Department of Natural Resources. And I could not believe it. I have been on the waiting list for over a year. There's this program that's also nationwide called Becoming an Outdoor Woman. And so it teaches you all things, outdoorsy, like camping and fishing and hunting. And even though there are many of the programs, there's like a small class size or limit, but I'd almost given up hope because every time, a program was offered, either it was something that either I couldn't attend or they told me I was waitlisted. But I was so excited when I got this email. It has been such a quick turnaround because last weekend I had to pass the online portion in order to attend the in-person event. Now think about it, adding the skill of learning how to hunt for those of us without land or livestock makes sense because it's a way to access non-factory farmed meat sources, right? You don't have to have land or the daily expensive feed to be able to harvest your own meat sources like rabbits, turkeys, or deer that you can either can or keep in the freezer. So laws are a little bit different everywhere, but in Maryland, our deer population is out of control and our bag limit is some of the highest in the country. Plus, hunting grounds have the equipment and room to store and chill your meat, and if you have access to things like a home grinder and canning, you can process your own meat at home.
Every morning I've been getting up before work and putting in about an hour of study time. I'm learning so much about anatomy, wildlife, and ethical hunting techniques. Now I'm on the topic of conservation and preservation, so this is a bit of what the course looks like. It's really well done and laid out. I feel that it's very comprehensive. You can also kind of listen to it as well.
Lessons in wildlife management. Initially, wildlife management in the United States was skewed toward protection. In the early 1900s,
All right, so let's go ahead and see if I can knock this out before I have to start getting ready for work. You have to pass each section with a score of 80% or better. And let me tell you, some of the chapters are very dense and require multiple rereadings. I'm just taking my time, and in addition to the course, there are lots of other video sources that the mentor program has provided. I've passed the initial online portion, but there are still other tests that I need to pass in order to demonstrate full hunter competency.
Now, I'll be honest in telling myself that I waited to tell my husband about the hunt until I passed the test, but here was his reaction.
What is the next challenge for me?
Pigs.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, potentially pigs. That is true. What would be your second guess? That's a really good one. I wasn't even expecting you to say that.
Turkey, quail. Is it a bird?
It's not a bird. No, it's definitely mammal. But you're right. Pigs are right. But instead
Goats.
of... Oh, wow.
Or sheep.
You are so close. Yes.
He had some good guesses, right? I couldn't hold the guy in suspense, so I told him I was moving on to deer.
Baby girl is becoming a hunter.
Becoming a hunter's girl. I'm not a hunter. I eat everything though.
This is true. Yeah, we make a great team.
Babe, take me to your outdoor world. Keep up.
Y'all know I'm a thrifter, and the mall is so not my scene. But Outdoor World just speaks to me. It's not a store, it's a destination. And this was my chance to finally shop here. I picked up a few basics that I needed as I prepared for my Sunday session. Success!
All right, good morning, you guys. So I have made it to the Hunter Control Station. I think that's what this place is called. But we are going to, the first hour is just getting like your hunt permit forms together. Then it's range practice from 9 to 10:30. And then there's a little break, and then we head back, probably here. Actually, no, it's a different location. It's the visitor center. And then we're going to learn about deer biology, rules and regulations, lunch, a strategy session, and then we're going to scout the hunting area with our mentors. So I'll try to get as much footage as I can, but I'm not really sure.
After introductions and orientation, we drove out to the shooting range. It has been a few years since I've gone, and I'm very much a beginner, but y'all, from 45 yards away, I was able to hit the target on each of the shots I took. This was a really great group of folks, and many of the mentors grew up hunting. We're all in a Facebook group, and it feels nice to have some hunting comrades.
It's like 90 days. Yeah. I'll take the gun.
Oh,
Good
that
job.
was nice. No, you go ahead.
Okay.
You
Can I
do
rest
it.
it just on this?
What did you do today?
Yeah, this is going on the fridge.
The second part of the session was held at a nearby nature center and was Q&A combined with more nuts and bolts. While my head is swirling with all I need to learn, I'm so appreciative that I have a mentor assigned to me, along with other newbies. Check your state's DNR to see if you have a similar program near you.
Shotgun, yeah, you bust up the leg and you get the heart and lungs, you know. My guys that I hunted with for 40 years always came to me because I knew that fact.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Hey, Dad.
What's up?
You tell me.
Looks like you're in the Highlander.
No, I'm in the Corolla. Dad, look at my outfit.
What kind of outfit is that? Hunting?
Yes, Dad.
And where are you calling yourself going hunting?
Dad, I got accepted into this program that I applied for like almost over a year ago now through Becoming an Outdoor Woman. And so I am actually going through like full-on hunter certification program, but they pair you with a mentee, and we've had this day-long program where I went to the shooting range. Dad, look at my shooting plate. I did so good. I'm a shotgun natural girl, Dad, and I was using the shotgun that had the free sight, so it didn't even have like a scope.
Wait. So, what are you going to be hunting with a shotgun?
Deer, actually anything, which is why I want to shoot with a shotgun, because I can do, you know, rabbits, I can do birds, deer. It's affordable, and it still is all-purpose enough. Because, I mean, you know, yeah, Dad, but I did really good today. I was recalling, I was conjuring up your BB gun stories.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dad, we're gonna have to go shooting next, and then we have an actual deer hunt December 2nd, where we're gonna go in, and just because we're a mentee program, we can actually set up our blind the day before. Now we can go hiking and hunting, Dad. Look, when I told Crystal that I was doing the hunt today, since we did the quail yesterday, she's like, I know you're going to be able to break that deer down. I'm like, thank you, Crystal. I am.
You have your plate. Sometimes I think you got your plate too full.
I'm having fun, Dad.
You hunting in a deer blind? on somebody's private property, then that's a whole lot easier than actually tracking a deer and trying to track a deer. He hung out with Wild Bill Hickok and Buffalo Bill Cody.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she hunted buffalo and everything.
I love it. Calamity Jane.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna be calling you from now on.
What I can for sure tell you is that I am absolutely enjoying my hunting journey. Less than 4% of the American population hunts, and despite the stereotypes about hunters, I can tell you firsthand that there is a lot of training that has an emphasis on land conservation, ethical hunting, and gun safety. I have my first deer hunt December 2nd. I have no expectations, but I will be practicing my shooting and getting out as much as I can. I'm about 90% sure that I'm gonna settle on a 20 gauge semi-automatic shotgun. It allows me to be all-purpose, which means I can use it for squirrels, rabbits, turkeys, deer, and flying birds. It's also in the affordable range because things can get expensive quick. It's not heavy and it's not teched out. I'll keep you posted, but wish me luck. I just didn't want you to be surprised if we're harvesting deer during December's pantry chat. Click the video on your screen for more recipe inspiration. I'll see you in my kitchen or garden soon. Take care, friends.